All right. And that's what the Outliers says. So for me, the Outliers gave me tangible hope and faith that I can start from the bottom. I can start with nothing. I came from Zimbabwe at 19 years old with a shirt and pants, nothing. Came with nothing. And today I'm driving something, I'm doing something, I can coach you guys. You can start from the bottom and you can be whoever you want to be. Because Bill Gates is in this book. And Bill Gates was part of an average family. It was not a super rich family, average income family. But he worked hard. He was coding from when he was in primary school. He had started with computers because in the 1950s, that's when the computers were being phased into schools and things like that. And not all schools had them, a select few. Bill Gates was born in the 1950s. Guess what year Steve Jobs were, or what decade Steve Jobs was born? No, no, 1950s as well. Even the guy who was partner with Bill Gates, 1950s. So that was an era of technology coming to life. Computers were just starting to get into the system. At that point, Bill Gates is born. Steve Jobs. And who are the biggest names in terms of technology? Steve Jobs is up there. Bill Gates is up there. And then there's Mark Zuckerberg, who's like the tiny tots of like all of them. All right. So Bill Gates started coding, and when he got to high school, he was coding at night, and they ended up managing to crack the computer because you could code only for a set amount of hours. They managed to crack the computer and put code in it so that they could code for longer. So they ended up coding for hours. So they had experience that no one else had. So when IBM and all these companies were now starting to look for people to code, guess who was able to code? Bill Gates and his friends. So from there, from that exposure and from that opportunity, Bill Gates and his friends managed to get into a company where they wanted people to code, and this company had unlimited hours on computers. So Bill Gates now was like on computers 24/7. He was restricted, so he was doing it at night whilst working or things like that. Now he had unlimited time on the computer and he could literally code all night, all day. So what did he start doing? Learned how to code. He looked at the computers like everybody cannot code. For me to be able to show you this PowerPoint, if I was using code, it would be a mess right now because I've got no idea how code works. It would be a huge mess. But Bill Gates was like, okay, let's find a way to make it easier for people to read code. All right, let's put the code in the background. People are not going to see the code. We will put softwares up front that they can utilize. Microsoft was born from an outlier. But Bill Gates is an outlier who's worked hard. All right? And then there's a guy who is a Jew, and this Jew, he was working as a lawyer, or he had just finished his degree as a lawyer. He could not find a job in all the law firms. He could not find an internship. And then one small company came and said, would like to get a lawyer. He got on board, and this guy started doing takeovers. You know what a takeover is, right? What is a takeover? Takes over another company. Okay. Good. So he was doing small takeovers in the 1980s. Small takeovers. In 1999, 2000, 2005, 2006, takeovers were now the biggest things. So when people were looking for lawyers who were good at takeovers, who did they take? The guy who was doing those small takeovers from 1980 up all the way. In the 1990s, 2000s, he became one of the biggest lawyers, and that firm became one of the biggest law firms. I can't remember the name exactly, but he became one of the biggest law firms in America just because of that. So sometimes it's because you've got information or you've got knowledge or small skill that you can utilize, that you can actually use to become better and ahead of everybody else. Some people might say, that's a small thing. What are you doing? And then next time, whoa, that's actually work. What? Who knew that this could pay? So now takeovers are worth billions right now, because when Instagram was taken over by Facebook, they paid loads of money. When WhatsApp was taken over by Facebook, they paid loads of money. That's a takeover. And if you're that lawyer, you are making about 10% of whatever money they're making there. That's a lot of money. So if it sells for billions, you're making 10% of a billion from a takeover. All right. So you can literally start from the bottom. This morning I was replying messages at 3. So Keon's mom sent a message. She's like, hey, you were up at 3. What were you doing? And then I was like, well, I'm a little behind on some things, but that's actually a lie, okay? I read in this book, it said people in China in rice paddies, all right? They farm on rice paddies, and this is what those people do. They wake up at 3 a.m. every single day of the year. At 3 a.m. every single day of the year.
Except on Friday and 13.
And what it says is, the people who wake up every single day of the year at 3 a.m. will never struggle in life. That's what they believe. That's what the Chinese believe. If you wake up, and the Bible says, a man who wakes up before the sun comes out, before dawn, he's not a lazy man and he's not going to struggle, hey? Doesn't the Bible say that as well? So these are principles that I take from, and I'm like, wait a minute. People who wake up at 3 are not going to struggle. I'm going to start waking up at 3. Since 2019, I've been waking up 3, 2, 3, 4. Like, if I wake up at 7, it means I slept at 11 or 12 or 1. So it's not like I'm just sitting here and like, no, it's going to come. No, I need to go get it. All right. So you can start from the bottom, have nothing, and actually be successful someday in life.